Ladies and gentlemen, this is not just another breaking news story. This is the end of an era. The voice that once echoed across Kenya's biggest national events, from the Moi era through Kibaki's golden years and into Uhuru's time, has gone silent. I'm talking about Sammy Lui Wang'ondu, the man whose voice carried presidents, inspired generations, and defined what it meant to speak with grace, confidence, and power. Welcome back to Alvan Global, where we dive deeper than headlines. Today, we look at the man, the legacy, and the mystery surrounding the final chapter of Sammy Lui's incredible life. Before there were modern TV anchors and social media presenters, there was a voice so smooth and commanding it could make you stop mid-conversation just to listen. Sammy Lui began his career at the Voice of Kenya, what we now call KBC. This was back when broadcasting was still an art form of precision, respect, and elegance. He wasn't just a journalist, he was a national voice. He moved to KTN, one of the first private TV stations in Kenya, helping shape the modern media landscape we all enjoy today. But his greatest chapter came when he joined the office of the president as the director of state events, or as most of us remember him, the presidential MC. From parades at Nyayo Stadium to Jamhuri Day celebrations, if you ever heard the president introduced with grace and style, that was Louis. His English, impeccable. His tone, iconic. His presence, unforgettable. But who was Sammy Lui away from the microphone? Behind the voice was a man who raised a family, including his son Nick Wang'ondu, whom many of you may remember from Big Brother Africa in 2011. Lui was described by colleagues as calm, articulate, and deeply patriotic. He wasn't just a public servant. He was a teacher, a mentor, and an inspiration to countless young broadcasters. But even legends face storms. In 2024, Sammy Lui made headlines for heartbreaking reasons. His home of more than 50 years in Woodley Estate, Nairobi, was demolished during the city's urban renewal project. Imagine that. A man who once introduced presidents being forced out of his lifelong home. He spoke to journalists then, not with anger, but with grace, saying, "We have nothing against the project, but we should be engaged." After that ordeal, Lui reportedly relocated to Subukia, Nakuru County, where he spent his final days in peace, away from the spotlight, surrounded by the hills and quiet countryside. Then came the news that shook Kenya's media fraternity. On Thursday, October 23, 2025, Sammy Lui passed away. His son, Chris Wang'ondu, confirmed the news, but the cause of death wasn't immediately disclosed. Reports from multiple outlets, Kenyans.co, Tuko, and others, say he died at home in Subukia. For many who grew up hearing him on radio or seeing him on national TV, it felt personal, like losing the voice of Kenya itself. Social media lit up with tributes. People called him the most fluent man ever to hold a mic, the perfect State House MC, and a voice that united a nation. And former MCSK CEO Ezekiel Mutua even once praised him as a legend whose mastery of English and protocol made state events a beauty. And that's true. Lui wasn't just reading scripts. He was crafting moments that made Kenya proud. So what do we learn from Sammy Lui's story? It's not just about fame or titles. It's about legacy. He showed us that dignity, voice, and integrity still matter, that you can serve your country not through politics or power, but through excellence. He gave Kenya a sound, the sound of authority, of elegance, of national pride. And even though his microphone has gone silent, his echo remains in our memories, our airwaves, and our hearts. Rest well, Sammy Lui Wang'ondu, the voice of Kenya. If you grew up hearing him, drop a comment below with your favorite memory or phrase he used to say. Let's celebrate this legend together. I'm Alvin, and this is Alvan Global, where stories breathe and legends never fade. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, because we bring you stories that matter, not just the headlines.